everyone? Welcome back to In the Yard podcast with your hosts, Collin and Braeden Cox. And in this episode, we're going to be previewing Aaron Rodgers and what he's going to be doing next. So, obviously, Aaron Rodgers comes out of his dark retreat, right? And is still not giving us any answers about what his decision is going to be. Braeden, as a Packers fan, I'm sure you're used to dealing with, I guess you'd call it drama, his
Yeah.
antics, his
Yep.
whatever you want to. If you want to say it's his personality, then it's his personality. But so, what do you think? What are your thoughts after he's back from this dark retreat?
Well, I mean, we're kind of still at the same exact point we were last time we talked about this, believe it or not. I mean,
Right.
like we shouldn't be surprised, but really the three options that like we're kind of left with is he gets a trade to the New York Jets from Green Bay. He stays in Green Bay or he retires. Like that's really the only you haven't really heard of any other teams linked to him, which is really surprising to me. Maybe they just don't want to deal with him. I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting how he like amped up this whole like darkness retreat, and he's gonna walk out. He's gonna reflect. He's gonna picture himself in retirement. He's gonna picture himself in Green Bay. He's gonna picture himself on a different team. Like his three real options, right? He's gonna go in this darkness retreat, think about all this, and then he's gonna he kind of like portrayed it as like he's gonna walk out and he's gonna have his decision, but we don't have any more answers. It just seems like that the rumors of him going to the New York Jets, like that talk has escalated, right? It seems like
especially
the
after
majority
Derek
of
Carr to the Saints.
Yeah.
Rodgers to Jets has definitely escalated. So
yeah, it seems like the majority of people think that he's going to be a New York Jet.
let me ask you
But
this,
me
Brady.
being
Do you think if he goes to the Jets, is it Super Bowl or bust for New York Jets?
yeah, I mean, because you're going to have to pay him a ton of money,
Right.
right? But it's, for me, the way I look at it is it's much more Super Bowl or bust for Aaron Rodgers than it is for the New York Jets, because
Really?
the Jets
See,
have a
I
young
think-
the Jets have a young future. So if
Yeah.
Rodgers plays for 2 years and they make it to the playoffs both years, the Jets can kind of like prove themselves, go to the playoffs, and then maybe different quarterback will be like, hey, Rodgers is retiring, I'll come join you, right? So I think if Rodgers goes to the Jets, like there's a lot more pressure on him than there is the New York Jets.
Right. I think
But-
we said in the episode, one of our first episodes recorded, I thought the Jets should have gone all in on Carr. I just don't. I think Aaron Rodgers is too big of a risk for the New York Jets. I know that he's won 2 MVPs the past 3 years, 2020 and 2021, right? I don't think he has it mentally to be surrounded by that New York media culture, right? Because in Green Bay, he was the man. Whatever
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers said, did, right? Whatever he wanted was done. He had all the receivers had to take his crap. They weren't running around. He didn't show up. They didn't show up to the non-mandatory OTAs, and then when he does show up, he starts yelling at receivers for not being in the right spot. That kind of stuff. I don't think that stuff is going to slide in New York, especially with that media over there, and especially with, the more left media. Rodgers isn't the most what's the word I'm looking for? Isn't the most democratic guy, right? So I just think it'll be weird, a really weird dynamic if he ends up going to the Jets. It's going to be a lot of young receivers. I know we don't really know what that locker room is going to exactly be like, because locker room reports are always, you got to take them with a grain of salt because you don't know what's actually going on in there. But yeah, I just think it'll be really. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is the answer for the New York Jets. I don't think they go together. I don't think the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers will go together, especially with what they're probably going to have to pay to get him.
Yeah. I think probably the best way to put it, right, is it's Rodgers' way or the highway, right? That works in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
That's not going to slide.
That works in Green Bay,
New
Wisconsin. That's not going to slide in Jersey and New York,
right?
Because it's just it's a completely different dynamic.
Right.
Like him, a few years ago, right, when like all the pandemic stuff was going on, we're like, this guy's gonna want to stay in Green Bay because he's not gonna want to go to some city, right, and deal with all that nonsense, right?
Right.
It was like he wants to be in his little like a cubby hole up in Green Bay, Wisconsin, where no one bothers him and he can kind of do what he wants. He can get away with, doing whatever. If he goes and plays in East Rutherford,
Right.
talk about like culture shock, like that's completely different. And I think that is going to be a huge factor in this, right? Because I think if we were talking about the Jets situation, but it was like Tampa or Miami or Houston, like, you know what I mean? Where there's like, this is a team that is like a lot of people consider to be a Super Bowl roster waiting for a quarterback, right? I think if it was like Tampa or Miami, I think it would be much more likely he joined them, right?
Yeah.
Because
now I know we said in previous episodes as potential Miami, but we thought Tua was going to be Miami's guy. When I think we were right about that. Obviously, they picked up his 5th-year option, so Rodgers to Miami's out of the picture. Can't see him go to the Jets. Maybe the Buccaneers.
I just can't see him I could see him much more. Like, basically what it comes down to is I think the majority of people could see him on a team like Tampa or Miami or even like Carolina versus seeing him on the Jets, not because of like any other reason than the fact that it's like
then the culture.
East Rutherford in New York. Like, that's literally why. Like, is that a fit? Is the city a fit? I just don't know. I don't think Chicago would be a fit. There were rumors, years like, when the whole thing with Devontae, like, kind of like made it seem like he might want to go to Chicago, and then he tried to get Rodgers. Like, no, that's just not going to work. He's not going to go to Chicago. Why would he ever go to Chicago? He hates the Bears, for one.
Right.
But he, like, you know what I mean? If he wants to change, like, that's not really a change. Like, the Jets would be a change. Tampa would be a change, right? Carolina would be a change. The question is, Rodgers in Jersey or New York, can you really see that? Jets fans can, of course. But this is Aaron Rodgers we're talking about. This is a completely different beast because it's his decision, of course, right? But he's not going to sign or ask for a trade anywhere or do anything unless he is 110% sure that this is what he wants to do.
Right.
Because if
there's
he
always
goes
that
to the
option of
Jets,
retirement. It's looking more and more likely, not more and more likely, but the chance of him retiring, like that
I think are
being a
much higher
decision,
than they
are going
were.
up by the day. It seems like.
I agree.
I mean,
I agree
obviously, you can't
100%.
believe everything the media says, but we're hearing reports that maybe Dolphins, then they pick up Tua as for their options. So that's not true, right?
Yeah.
And then we hear, that the Jets, that obviously the Jets need a quarterback. Rodgers to Jets, it just makes sense right now. And then you think about it, like, does he really belong there? Would he really fit in that culture? And now you're saying, well, at this point, is it Green Bay, who have already said that they're done with him? Like, they don't want anything to do with him. Again, you can't believe everything the media says. But like, what is he really going to have any other options? And is that going to force him to retire?
Yeah, I mean,
that's something to think about.
You make a good point here because you would think, like, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers. We're talking about the 4-time MVP 2 times the past 3 years. We've gone over this, right? Why aren't there more teams that are like there was all this buzz for like Lamar like a week or so ago. It seemed like there was a decent amount of teams that were in a car. Maybe not like a ton of teams, but like there were teams that were willing to go after Carr for sure. The Jets being one of them. You would think this guy won MVP twice in the past 3 years. Like, you would think that there would be at least 3, 4, 5 teams that were like, here's the money. Like, we'll do it right now.
Right.
Because it's Aaron Rodgers, right? But we're just not really seeing that. Right now, it only seems that the only team that's interested is the Jets, which is just really surprising. And it's not because it's the Jets, it's just because it's only one team. You'd think that there would be more interest. But it could be a lot of things. It could be his age. It could be the unpredictability of him.
Mm-hmm.
And, you just don't know how long he's going to play. He could play another 4 years probably if he wanted to. Do you see him playing 4 years? Probably not. I think if he plays, he's probably going to play 2 years.
Right. I think
Right?
it's 2
That's
years
fair.
max.
If he plays, he's probably playing 2 years. I
And
don't.
then maybe
I think.
goes to the Jets. Somehow goes to the Jets and then ends up winning a Super Bowl. Maybe he'll be done after that. No.
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, if he were to win a Super Bowl like next year, I think he would just call it right there because it's like he can't really get much better than that.
Yeah. I just don't. I don't want to make this a Rodgers to the Jets episode because we don't know if that's true. But I'm saying like if he does end up going to the Jets, he's pushing. Is he He's 39, right? Going to be 40.
Yeah, I don't have his exact age. I always forget his age. Hold up. He's 39.
Yeah. So
He just turned 39.
just turned 39. I don't know. And then those receivers like Garrett Wilson's like what 23. Sauce Gardner's like they're all our age. I just can't see
Rodgers
that
is almost
dynamic
double the age of
working
these
with
guys.
Aaron Rodgers. I just can't see it. It's just a whole different generation of players. Like obviously you got Joe Burrow. I hate bringing, not that I hate bringing Joe. I feel I might bring Joe Burrow into things all the time. But you got Joe Burrow with those
But
young
he's young.
guys over there in Cincy. There's the better
It works.
dynamic, right? They're friends. They're
works.
closer. It's just the same generation. I just can't see it working in the Meadowlands with that young roster. And I know we saw that, Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner burning the cheesehead in the fire. And, they might say now that they want Rodgers to come, but I don't think they understand his dynamics and what he brings to, because he's very old school and sometimes a little too old school could be bad for winning
But
games.
here's the thing.
In this day and age.
Here's the thing, though. If you're the Jets, what other option do you have?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like, what is another legitimate option? You're out on. Zach Wilson.
That's why they should have gotten Carr.
Exactly. Like Carr, Lamar, and Rodgers are your options, right? Carr's off the table, so you're down to Lamar.
I mean, I
Rodgers.
guess maybe Lamar could be an option.
Yeah, but then they'd have the Ravens. The Ravens are gonna match whatever offer, right? It just makes sense for them to do that. But Rodgers to the Jets is like a legitimate, like that's all the buzz, right? So it seems like Rodgers is their one and Lamar is their two.
It could be New York media though, gassing everything up.
True, it could be the New York media, but I don't know. We'll definitely see. As far as predictions, like you could literally say anything and it's possible. You know what I mean with him? You could say anything. You could say he's going to be in Green Bay. He's going to retire. He's going to be in the Jets. He's going to be on some other team. And I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah. So where do you think he's going to end up? I was running on 2 more minutes here. Where do you think Aaron Rodgers is going, Braeden?
I think if he plays, he does this every year. I think he's going to be in Green Bay. And I'm not saying that as a Green Bay Packers fan. I'm saying this off of what I've seen. He's done this, not to this extent, but he's done this for like 3 or 4 seasons now.
Right.
Where there's all this buzz. Oh, he's going to the Jets. Oh, he's going to Tennessee. Or he's going here. Remember, there was all the buzz. Oh, he's going to go to Tennessee because he bought property in Tennessee. Like, the guy's got so much freaking money. Like, of course he's got a home in Nashville. Like, why wouldn't he? I think he's going to go and he's going to collect the bag in Green Bay. Because,
I think he's going to be forced in retirement at this rate.
Or he's going to retire. Those are my only 2 options. I don't think he's going to be a Jet. I think he's going to be a Jet. I think he's either going to retire or he's going to be a Packer.
Hopefully we'll be able to do a reaction pod within the next few days.
When that happens, yeah.
As he said that we're going to find out soon. So hopefully he makes a decision. That'll be definitely a fun episode no matter what he does there.
Yep.
So we're about running out of time here. I think that about wraps it up for us, Bray. You got anything else you want to add?
That's all I got. Yeah, I mean, probably the next time we're having a legitimate conversation about Aaron Rodgers is going to be when we hear his decision, which hopefully is in the next, 4 or 5 days here.
Yeah, I agree. I hope it'll be really exciting to see and interesting to find out what he does. All right, everyone. Thank you again for listening to In the Yard podcast. That's our thoughts on what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers, and we hope you had a good weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yep. See ya. Thank you.